You were not meant to be a slave to the grind. You were not meant to trade your life force for money. You can escape gravity. You can unlock your life. You got this. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to Unlock Your Life. This is your host, Jennings Smith. I'm excited to be here today. Last week, I was driving home from Ohio with my wife. I got the 4 kids in the back, and they're watching a movie. There's a screen back there. I can't see the movie, but I can still hear it. And something was said in that movie that cut me to my heart. And it really drove home the point of what we're going to be talking about today. And it gave me a little bit of fire, motivation. So if you're discouraged, you're a little down, you need a little shot in the arm of adrenaline, motivation to keep on going, then hang out, listen to me for another 20 minutes or so, and let's talk about what this movie said and why it mattered. So I talk to a lot of people about real estate, right? They reach out to me via Facebook or Instagram, they DM me, and I always communicate back with people, right? And if they're qualified, we'll jump on a call and we'll talk. And I always ask them some of the things like, what's the push for multifamily? Why are you interested in this? Why now? Why do you want to transition out of rental homes into commercial real estate? And by and large, they say some of these same things, right? Number one thing people usually say is, I want passive income, right? That's their why. Talking about trying to get to the heart of their why. And why do you want to take on this risk? Why do you want to learn a new skill? Why do you want to sail these uncharted waters? Number one thing they say typically is, I want passive income, right? And it hits all the pleasure receptors of your brain. You imagine getting this check every month, like clockwork, and you're not necessarily having to trade your hours or life force to get it. The passive income is definitely up there. I want to build wealth, right? I want to leverage debt and I want to build wealth. I want to buy a property for $3 million and make it worth $4 million. And then I want to refinance it for cash flow. Or I want to sell it and I want to make $1 million. I want to build wealth, and I'm not building wealth by trading my time for money. I'm not building wealth by making $70, $80, $100,000 a year. I'm treading water, but I'm not building wealth. Some people say, I want to fight inflation. My money's in the bank, it's inflating away. And I know that if I'm in something like real estate, inflation is now working for me. I'm able to get fixed debt and I'm able to ride the inflation of properties because we know that the government's going to continue to print money. Property values are going to most likely continue to go up. Rents are going to continue to go up. And so you are beating inflation by being in something like this. Some people, they have a tax issue. Maybe they're a high income earner and they pay a lot of taxes, or they want to invest their money in something that is tax advantage where they can get depreciation and they can save on taxes. Some want to quit their job. Not everybody, but a lot of people, they're like, I don't really like my job. I'm not going anywhere. I don't have a purpose in it. It's not something I particularly enjoy. Others really like their job, but they're just looking to add on to that. But some people, they want to quit their job. Some people say, well, I want to spend more time with my kids and my wife, my family. A lot of people say that. They want to spend more time with their family. Some people say, I want the challenge. I want to do bigger things. I want to achieve my potential. I want to go for it, right? I know I can do this and I know I can do bigger things. I've been playing small and I want to play big. It's time to put on my big boy pants. And what they're talking about there is not really the core. And that was what was so powerful about this movie quote, which I'm going to get into in a second. But it's just, these are components, right? They are talking about what it can do, right? They're talking about what multifamily or commercial can do for them and the benefits it is, but it isn't really cutting to the core of the why. So let's talk, there are nuts and bolts to this sort of thing, right? There are nuts and bolts that make up this. You've got learning, right? Learning the skills, learning the underwriting. You got finding the deals, off-market deals or broker deals or connections through partners or whatever. You got to find these deals. You got the component of lending, right? And we talk about these nuts and bolts to help them to understand the obstacles that are in their way and then how to overcome them, right? How can you overcome, I don't know how to underwrite a deal? How can you overcome, I don't know where to find a deal. I don't even know what a good deal looks like if I did find it, right? If I did find it, then how do I get a loan on it, right? How do I qualify for that? How do I get the down payment? How do I have $1 million in cash to plunk down on this deal? How do I do seller financing? How do I do seller carryback? How do I raise money from other people? How does the closing work? How does the due diligence period work? Like when I put something under contract, like what are the steps I need to go through to make sure that I have a good deal and the seller's not lying about everything and the expenses are all falsified and everything? Because trust me, that happens. And you need to go into these deals eyes wide open. We talk about operations and self-management and property management. And how do you scale this? We talk about cash flow and how does the cash flow work? Who gets paid? How do the investors get paid? Your loan gets paid. How do you get paid? We talk about networking, and all of those things are things that you need to make this work, right? They're all things that you need, but it is not what multifamily is, okay? I want to reiterate that. We've been talking about passive income, building wealth, retiring, fighting inflation. That's not what multifamily is. We're talking about underwriting, lending, down payments, closing, operations, due diligence. That's not what multifamily is. So let's go back in time to me coming back from Ohio. I'm riding in the car. We spent 2 weeks up there with my wife's family. And we're probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours into this trip. And the kids are, being kids. And so we kick on this movie. We're in the Chrysler minivan. I don't know if any of you out there listeners have Chryslers, but we're in the Chrysler minivan. We flip down the video screen, and my wife pops in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, right? So Pirates of the Caribbean, that's the first movie. And if you're familiar with the movie, you know the hero is Captain Jack Sparrow, and the heroine is Miss Elizabeth Swann. And so Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swann, they kind of got into some trouble with Jack's pirate friends, and they marooned him on this island. So they're on this little tiny island out in the middle of the Caribbean Sea, and they're basically left to die, right? They don't have a boat, they don't have food, they don't have water, they don't have anything, and within a few weeks, they're most likely going to be dead. So if you know the movie, you know that Jack Sparrow finds a secret cache of rum that's buried there, and the rum runners haven't been going by there, so there's a bunch of rum there, and they're excited. So they build a little campfire, and they proceed to drink some rum, sing some songs, and they both sit down by the fire, and Jack gets very thoughtful and quiet, and he pauses, and this is what he says: "Wherever we want to go, we'll go." That's what a ship is, It's not just a keel and a hull and a deck and a sails. No, that's what a ship needs. But what a ship is, what the Black Pearl really is freedom. And when I heard that, it just clicked into my mind. Wherever you want to go, you go. When you have that option, and I'm not talking about trips. Yes, on vacations, sure, going to Ohio, going to the beach, going to wherever you want to go. But where do you want to go with your life? I talked to a guy this week. You know where he wants to go? He wants to go on the mission field, right? And he wants to get into multifamily so that he can go on the mission field. I talked to a guy who doesn't have a purpose, right? Doesn't have a purpose with his job and isn't happy with where he's going. There's others that have desires. They want to start a business. They want to travel. They want to start an internet business. They want to do something completely different than multifamily, but because of the situation they're in, they don't have a ship, and so they can't go where they want to go. Think about this. If there's a crisis with your family, like imagine something, your kid gets sick and is in the hospital. God forbid your sister passes away or your father or whatever, and there's a time where you got to band around your family and help. You need to have options to be able to help. You need to have the freedom and have the time and be able to go where you want to go. Because it is not just passive income, equity, it's not just vacations, it's not net worth, it's not a life of ease and cash in the bank. No, what an apartment is, what your portfolio really is at the end of the day is freedom. When you focus on that and you realize this is my why, I'm literally and legitimately fighting for my freedom. I'm fighting for my life back. I'm fighting for the ability to have my ship and go where I want to go and take that ship in the direction that God has laid on my heart or that I'm called to do, wherever that is, whatever that is. The multifamily ship is something that can be a vehicle to take you there. So if you're feeling a little bit down, or you're feeling a little bit discouraged, or you're not exactly sure what's the next step to take, or maybe things haven't been working out for you lately as well as you like, remember your why. Remember what you're fighting for. Remember that freedom, because there is nothing more important than getting your life back and unlocking your life. All right, guys, have a great week. Reach out to me if you need me. Peace.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.